In the headlines, supplementary elections, voting begins in Rivers, Kebbi, Adamawa, other states. Suspected Boko Haram insurgents reportedly killed 10 in Yobe community. 20 persons injured as police dispersed protesting Shiites in Kaduna State. And on the international scene, heavy gunfire blasts heard in Sudan's capital, Khartoum. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. And now the news in detail. Voting has commenced in Kebbi, Adamawa, and 22 other states where supplementary elections were scheduled to hold this Saturday. According to the Independent National Electoral Commission, supplementary elections are holding in 2,660 polling units in 185 local government areas across 24 states of the Federation. Also, supplementary elections have commenced in Rivers State in Port Harcourt Federal Constituency 2 and Kana-Gokana Federal Constituency. In Port Harcourt Federal Constituency 2, elections hold in Ward 5 and Wards 10 to 18 in a total of 377 polling units. In Kana-Gokana, elections hold in Wards 4 and 7 of Kana local government area. The number of polling units affected in Kana is 42. Now for Adamawa State, voting is expected to hold in 69 polling units, comprising 37,706 eligible voters, while in Kebbi, 142 affected polling units with 94,209 voters will participate. Meanwhile, there is heavy presence of security operatives at polling units where supplementary elections are taking place in Burning Kebbi local government area of Kebbi State. Security operatives from the military, police, civil defense, immigration service, and the LEA are at every strategic area of the polling units. During Daily Trust correspondence coverage of the units where elections are being held at polling units 015, Upper Sharia Court in Ambersa, polling unit 021, Kardi Service Center, polling unit 005, Government Day Secondary School, Kalgo, polling unit 009, Wuro Gauri, and Badaria Gari, Hirishi Gari, all in Burning Kebbi local government area of the state. The security personnel were firmly stationed at various positions at the polling units while voting was ongoing. Daily Trust reports that there is heavy army patrol of areas where elections are being held and soldiers are seen in armored vehicle and military vans. Well, our reporter Isiaka Abdulaziz is in Kebbi and will be joining us to give us an update on the elections in the state. Hello? Yes. Thank you so much for joining us, Isiaka.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So please, can you give us an update? What is actually happening, as regards particularly to the security situation in some of these polling units in Kebbi State?
Yes, actually there is a heavy security build-up in all the polling units across the rerun election polling units.
Okay.
As I am standing here with you, I'm standing in a polling unit called Hisba Office PU 033 Marafa Ward. It's located in the front of the Ubandomas house here in Burning Kebbi. Okay. We have a total number of 727 registered voters and 719 PVC collected. There is a heavy build-up of security. You can see both the police, the SSS, the civil defense, the army, and every other security agency, including all the security agencies. So there is a heavy build-up of security. There was a polling unit I visited just like few minutes ago. The number of registered voters there is over 1,000 registered voters. The crowd was overwhelming. The police had to call in the army to intervene in order to calm the situation. But as I'm telling you now, the polling unit I am standing here, the environment is a bit relatively calm and is a bit well organized.
Okay, is it the electorates that actually came out en masse? Are they the reason for the heavy security, or are there mischief makers who are trying to, you know, find trouble at some of these polling units?
No, I don't think there is a need for fighting trouble or for trouble. What is happening is, you know, this election is being conducted during the Ramadan fasting.
Okay.
And it is expected that most people will not come out to vote. So the turnout is overwhelming.
Okay.
We can see, I will send you the video shortly.
Okay.
You can see more than 1,000 people are queued to vote for their preferred candidate. That is the problem we are facing here now. That is the reason why they are overwhelming the security operators and the electoral officers.
Okay, now compared to other, you know, states that we've spoken to, you know, the reporters actually said that there's so much voter apathy in some of these states. But do you see the elections ending as and when due to the heavy presence of electorates?
No, it is not even possible to finish this election within the stipulated time, because the number of people that are on queue you can only have taken just like 2% of the prospective voters.
Okay.
So more than 90% of the voters are yet to have access to go to the polling booth.
Okay, so were challenges, you know, encountered with the beavers in any way?
No. There has not been any report of beavers having any problem thus so far.
Okay.
We are having a smooth from the polling unit I am reporting.
Okay.
The beavers are working fine. But all the polling units I have visited, the beavers are working fine, and the electoral officers are giving out the ballot paper, and the election is going on. But the problem we are facing is the number of people willing to vote is much higher. It's highly unprecedented.
All right, well, thank you so much, Isiaka Abdulaziz, for sharing an update on the elections, supplementary elections in Kebbi State with us. All right, so moving on to more stories. The Independent National Electoral Commission is conducting supplementary election for the State Assembly and some polling units in 5 local government areas in Kaduna State. The supplementary election is now ongoing at some polling units in Giwa, Kaura, Kudan and Sanga local government areas. The polling units affected are 2 polling units in Giwa, 2 in Kaura, and 5 polling units in Kudan, while 9 in Sanga local government areas in Kaduna State. Now, our reporter in Kaduna, Bello Musa, is joining us live to update us on what is going on in his polling unit. We spoke to Bello Musa a few minutes ago, but let's find out if there's any new happening in some of these polling units. Hello, Bello. Thank you for staying with us.
Hello, thank you. Good afternoon.
All right. So, any new updates?
Well, there's an update in Kudan and Kauru local government area, where the supplementary election is currently ongoing. The update is that vote buying is being recorded in those 2 local government area, where some of the residents who spoke under the condition of anonymity said certain politicians influence voters with money to vote in their favor.
Okay, I remember asking you this earlier, and you said there was no vote buying going on. But right now, how much are they being given, and is there anything being done to actually stop vote buying in these polling units?
Well, I can't say the precise amount given to voters to cast their vote, but there are presence of security agencies, though I'm yet to locate officials of the EFCC or ICPC, but there are other security agencies going around the affected polling unit to ensure the credibility of the poll.
Okay, so right now, do you have more electorates coming out to vote, or is there still a case of voter apathy?
There are electorates, considering the fact that this is an election that affects grassroots. It's a supplementary election on State House of Assembly. So voters are coming out to cast their votes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Bello Musa, for sharing that update with us on the Trust News Update. All right, so moving on, suspected Boko Haram terrorists have killed 10 people in Bunigadi town in Gujuba local government area of Yobe State. The incident happened on Thursday evening when one Abbashati Gawi, aged 40, was kidnapped and killed by the terrorists after he went to cut grey wood. Sources say friends and relatives of the victim grouped themselves in search for him, but they were ambushed and killed by insurgents in the area. When contacted, the State Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Dungus Abdul Karim, confirmed the incidents, but he said 9 people were killed by the terrorists. According to him, the youths were ambushed and killed when they went to the area to search for Shati Gawi, who was kidnapped and killed by Boko Haram. He added that a team led by the divisional police officer of the area, DSP Idris Haruna, visited the scene of the dead bodies and later released the corpses to their relatives. The 2 female students of Federal University Gusau in Zamfara State, abducted by bandits, have regained freedom after spending 12 days in captivity. The students were kidnapped after armed men broke into their apartment situated at Sabongida community. The Zamfara State Students Association of the university confirmed the release of the students. It was, however, not clear whether ransom was paid. The public relations officer of the association, Umar Abubakar, said they rejoiced with the school management and parents of the children who had to go through the trauma of the abduction at an unimaginable pain and anguish. Still on security, about 20 members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, otherwise known as Shiites, sustained varying degrees of injuries when police operatives dispersed them during a procession to mark the International Quds Day. One of the leaders of the movement, who addressed journalists after the clash, Yunusa Lawal, said they were on a peaceful procession to say no to the continued illegal occupation of Palestine by Israel before the police allegedly attacked their members. He condemned the continuous incursions into Al-Aqsa Mosque and occupation of Palestine by Israel regime and the continuous denial of Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaki and his wife Mualima Zina their travel passports to enable the couple travel for medical treatment. The police spokesperson, Deputy Superintendent of Police Muhammad Jaligay, is yet to comment on the matter. It could be recalled that the Kaduna State government had in 2016 declared the IMN as an illegal society and prescribed all its activities. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break, we take a look at how to cope with Ramadan fast while multitasking. Stay with us.
Good morning, Nigeria. Year after year, they have informed, educated, and entertained us. When you needed information, knowledge, or an escape.
From generation to generation, the Nigerian broadcasting industry has worked tirelessly to serve you.
And now, this service will finally be be recognized.
Come May 17th this year, broadcasters all over Nigeria will gather at a hotel and suites for the maiden edition of the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards, an award ceremony set to reward hard work and excellence in the broadcast media. Voting starts on 20th April and ends on 4th May 2023. Visit www.tnbawards.ng to vote now. They've served and they're still serving. It's time we say thank you. This award is organized by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, Bonn.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us on Trust News Updates. Here's a recap of our top stories. We told you that supplementary elections voting begins in Rivers, Kebbi, Adamawa, other states. We also told you that suspected Boko Haram insurgents reportedly killed 10 in Yobe community. Now moving on to more stories, still on the supplementary elections ongoing in some parts of the country. We have our correspondent Idris Jibrin with an update on the supplementary elections in Kano State.
Well, voting into the supplementary elections across many parts of Kano State which were affected has since commenced. You can see behind me all these people are voters and agents of various political parties who've been here since morning trying to cast their votes. You may recall that 2 House of Representatives elections were cancelled by the INEC, though not totally cancelled, but some words were cancelled by the Independent National Electoral Commission during the governorship and state assemblies national election, and also during the presidential and national assemblies elections. Here in Kano, we have Dogwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency, where some words were cancelled and the supplementary election is taking place today. And also we have Fage Federal Constituency, where also some words were cancelled by the Independent National Electoral Commission due to either violence or overvoting. Supplementary election is also taking place in those particular wards, and this one is part of them. There are also some about 13 local government which were affected by the state assembly elections, and supplementary elections is also taking place across these 13 local government. Now, initially this morning, election could not start till around 9 and 10 a.m. in some polling units because the electoral materials could not arrive in time. But then as of this moment, as I'm talking to you, this is almost 12 p.m. I can tell you that voting is going on simultaneously in almost all these places, even though it did not start on time. And so far, we have not had any report of violence or breakdown of law and order because we have seen the presence of heavy security men. Yesterday, the police commissioner confirmed to us that about 2,000 police officers were deployed in all these places where the supplementary elections will be taking place. So we are watching the situation to see how it will be from now on to 2:30 or 2 p.m. when the election is expected to be over.
Thank you, Idris Jibrin, for that update. Now let's move on to more stories. The Osun State Police Command has arrested 25 suspected members of secret cults for attacking residents of Ile-Ife. Pandemonium broke out in Ile-Ife on Monday when the cultists went on rampage, vandalized valuable properties and injured scores of people. Police swiftly swung into action, arrested the suspects and detained them at the police headquarters in Osogbo, the state capital, for investigation. The Assistant Police Public Relations Officer of the command, Theophilus Adeshokon Adekola, said peace and orderliness has been restored in Ile-Ife after the arrest of the suspects. Some of the suspects confirmed their membership of secret cults, while some denied.
Concerning the issue that happened in Ile-Ife, where some suspected cultists vandalized properties and caused grievous harms to some members of the public, I would like to make it clear that normalcy has been returned to Ile-Ife and there is peace and order as we speak. And the suspected cultists arrested are still being investigated as we speak. And upon completion of investigation, they will be charged to court.
Muslim housewives have their hands full with increased daily tasks during the holy month of Ramadan, even as they are not exempted from fasting. Coping with these multiple tasks requires smart Muslim housewives to be creative and manage their time carefully to deliver efficiently. Hamid Oyegbade files in this report as put together in our studio.
Fasting in the month of Ramadan is obligatory for all Muslim men and women as prescribed by Allah. During this holy month, the role of Muslim housewives in their respective homes is more pronounced. As they battle the household chores, Muslim women also make supplications to Allah day and night to seek His blessings.
As a Muslim housewife and a career woman, I ensure that every morning I wake up around 3 a.m., wake up and wake my family members to prepare sahur. Then after the sahur, we go for the subuhi, the morning prayers. After the morning prayers, I prepare to go to work.
By 3:30 during Ramadan, perform ablution, do 2 rakah of nawafil. After then, I will move to the kitchen, prepare food for the family. Then after the sahur, then I have the growing children. So some will be sweeping the floor, cleaning the house, and before subuhi. After the subuhi, we move to the mosque. When I come back from the mosque, then I have to rest till 7 to 7:30.
This Muslim cleric is advising husbands to always appreciate their wives and give them special gifts after Ramadan.
The ability for women folks to multitask during the Ramadan period and their specialty is recognized by Almighty Allah in the Holy Quran, where they recognize them as women folks in Surah An-Nisa. And by this, our various men must understand that after Ramadan period and their activities of bringing family together, we need to show some level of love and care that bringing all the family together during this period is an effort that cannot be done without the strength of our Muslimah.
Meanwhile, it is the consensus of scholars that women who take good care of their homes, especially during Ramadan, would be favored by Allah.
Let's now take a look at business news. The Naira has appreciated against the dollar at the parallel market as some of the dollars said to have been spent by politicians during the elections have come into the market. The Naira strengthened to 735 Naira per dollar on Friday compared to 742 per dollar on Tuesday at the parallel market, also known as the black market. At the investors and exporters forex window, the dollar was quoted at the rate of 462 Naira 83 kobo per dollar as against 463 Naira 67 kobo per dollar, data from FMDQ indicated. According to data from the Central Bank of Nigeria, it shows Nigeria's external reserves declined by 4.75% to $35.43 billion as of April 12, 2023, from $37.20 billion on January 1st. In 2022, the country's external reserves declined by 8.2% to $37.1 billion from $40.5 billion at the start of the year. Now, on the foreign scene, heavy gunfire and explosions were heard in Sudan's capital, Khartoum, following days of tension between the army and a powerful paramilitary group. Shooting and blasts took place on Saturday in the vicinity of Sudan's army headquarters and the defense ministry in central Khartoum. Columns of smoke emanated from various places in the city, and soldiers were deployed on the streets. Witnesses reported confrontations and loud explosions and gunfire near a base held by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces in South Khartoum. The Rapid Support Forces, in a statement, said they were surprised Saturday with a large force from the army entering camps in Soba in Khartoum and laying siege to paramilitaries there, adding that the army force launched a sweeping attack with all kinds of heavy and light weapons. However, a spokesman for Sudan's army said paramilitary troops attacked military bases. And finally, in sports, Charles Chibuike will be handed his first start by Doma United in the second stanza of the season against Wiki Tourists on Sunday. Chibuike has been dropped in recent weeks by head coach Akinade Onigbinde. According to camp source, Onigbinde has decided on giving the new Flying Eagles invitee the nod in attack against Wiki Tourists. The Savannah Tigers are hoping to return to winning ways again following last weekend's 1-0 defeat in Dakar. Doma United are fourth on Group B table with 19 points. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.